with the drop in price, the lavish property still listed $195 million. If you can afford it, California is the place you ought to be. So load up your truck and move to Bel Air. Bel Air, that is. That's quite a house.
Boy, that really is.
Look at the size of that thing.
Did Granny come with it?
Yeah, the Granny does not come with it, I don't think. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, the state Senate narrowly approves a Republican-authored 2-year spending plan. We're looking into what could happen when it reaches the governor's desk.
Whether to rent or to buy in Madison, we're sharing some advice from a local retirement planner about which option will save you more money.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Wisconsin's $81 billion 2-year spending plan heads to Governor Tony Evers after narrowly clearing the state Senate today.
Rose Schmidt spoke with the leaders of the Senate, and she joins us live at the state capitol to explain what happens next. Rose?
Yes, well, Republican Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald tells me Governor Evers should sign the budget, and he believes he will. After about 6 hours of debate today in the Senate, that chamber narrowly passed the budget 17-16 with all Democrats and 2 Republicans voting against it. Evers will have the option to use his line item veto power and change parts of the budget or veto the document in its entirety, but he hasn't said yet what he will do. Republicans made a number of last-minute changes to that document this week, aiming to make it line item veto proof. Democrats say the plan misses the mark as it doesn't include many of Evers' top priorities, like legalization of medical marijuana, Medicaid expansion, and raising the minimum wage.
I think it would be difficult to reassemble the legislature, bring them back, and then work on the policy decisions from a different perspective if he vetoes the entire thing, which I really hope he doesn't do.
Has made his points clear about what are his values and priorities in this budget. And so ultimately, he's always said he will do what is best for Wisconsin. And we look forward to supporting the governor in that decision.
That was the Democratic leader of the Senate, Jennifer Schilling, and she says she'll support Evers whether he decides to make changes or to veto the budget entirely. And if he does decide to veto it, Fitzgerald tells me that they likely won't try to override that veto until about October, because it will take that long for them to go through the budget. Back to you.
Rose Schmidt live at the state capitol tonight. Rose, thank you.
All right, a look now at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joining us from a warm evening on the weather patio here.
It's warm but not too humid yet, but the humidity is not far behind, and it may be preceded by some thunderstorms that will be rolling through the area about this time tomorrow or tomorrow night. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see lots of sunshine over southern Wisconsin. The air is dried out a little bit, so it's actually pretty nice out here, even though it is warm. Doppler track, no rain across southern Wisconsin right now, so that's good news. But again, we'll probably see the radar light up about this time tomorrow. Temperatures right now are in the lower to middle 80s through all of southern Wisconsin, not even a lake breeze near Lake Michigan. But you can see with the heat index about the same as the temperature, and that's because the dew point temperatures are generally in the middle 50s, about average for this time of year, so it's not too humid. But again, that will change, and the heat index values will go up as well. Temperatures will drop only into the upper 60s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, look for highs in the mid 80s, and some thunderstorms could develop late in the afternoon into tomorrow night. There could be some severe weather. We have alert days in the forecast for that. More details and weather in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Gary. The State Department of Justice confirms the man who was shot and killed by a Neenah police officer yesterday was armed with a knife. Police were serving a search warrant at an apartment complex in Menasha during an investigation into internet crimes against children. The DOJ says the man they were investigating confronted police and an officer shot the man. He later died at the hospital. The Racine police officer killed while trying to stop an armed robbery at a bar has been laid to rest. Hundreds of police officers, family and community members paid their last respects to Officer John Hetland. He was a 24-year veteran of the department and is survived by his 2 children. Investigators are still searching for the gunman who shot Hetland. The reward for information leading to his arrest is now $78,500.
A foundation established in memory of a firefighter who was killed responding to 9/11 announced today it will pay off the mortgage of the home of a fallen Appleton firefighter. Last month, you'll recall Mitchell Lundgaard was killed responding to a medical call when the person first responders were trying to help opened fire on them. He leaves behind a wife, Lindsay, and 3 young sons. According to a release, his wife said it was amazing that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is taking over her mortgage. She says it will allow her to focus on her children and grieving after the loss of her husband.
Insect experts say they're seeing signs of a dangerous tick making its way to Wisconsin. The tick has been spotted in Eau Claire County. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the strange side effects that a Lone Star tick can carry. Adam?
Well, Susan, the expert I talked to today, said there's already been several sightings of the Lone Star tick in Wisconsin this year, and then in years past it's been seen in Dane and even Rock County. Now, she says this insect is normally from the south, but will find its way up north by attaching itself to a bird or some other type of animal. Now, she says what makes this tick unique is that it will actively seek people out to bite, and that if you do find yourself bitten by it, you can potentially develop a somewhat interesting allergy.
Some cases of people who've been bitten by Lone Star ticks, and then sometimes for a long time, sometimes for a short time, you know, whenever they have beef or I think lamb too, you know, any of the red meats, they can develop even life-threatening kind of shock.
Now, Professor Paskowitz says the best way to prevent yourself from these ticks is to spray yourself with a bug repellent, and if you're going outside to hike or camp, to wear long sleeves and long pants. She does say if you do find yourself face-to-face with one of these ticks, the best thing you can do that will help them is to snap a photo of it and upload it to their app called the Tick app that's run by the University of Wisconsin's entomology department. She says that helps them to monitor and track this dangerous bug here in Wisconsin.
Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
The Madison-based company that created the first at-home colorectal cancer screening test can now process millions of tests each year. Today, Exact Sciences held a ribbon-cutting event at its new 169,000 square foot facility just off the Beltline. The lab will process Cologuard, bringing the total processing capacity now to 7 million tests a year. Exact Sciences is also collaborating with industry leaders to detect some of the world's deadliest cancers earlier.
Upwards of 20% of students at four-year colleges are food insecure, which means they lack reliable access to affordable, nutritious food. At UW-Madison, 12% of students don't have enough to eat. The university is partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank for a 3-month pilot program to address the problem. Helpful Harvest allows students to choose from food items online and then pick up food anonymously. Second Harvest hopes the program will make people who need nutritious food feel more comfortable getting it.
It's a very tough thing to ask for help. There's a little bit of a stigma about going to a food pantry, and they really don't want to be maybe seen going to a food pantry. We're hoping to make a program out here that's a little bit more discreet.
Anyone can sign up for food, no questions asked. We have information on how to do that on channel3000.com. Just search food insecurity. Right now, new numbers show Wisconsin is one of the few states in the country where it is better for you to rent a home this year than buy one.
The News 3 Now's Josh Pryder explains what this could mean for your wallet.
ApartmentGuide.com shows Wisconsin as one of just 10 states where it's better to rent than buy, and I learned that holds true for the Madison Metro as well.
Renting's become very viable in Madison because anywhere you drive in Madison, there are all kinds of new apartment buildings going up. East Washington has been transformed in the downtown area by all these great big new apartment buildings, and it's brought nightlife and restaurants and coffee bars.
According to ApartmentGuide.com, rents have gone down 1.62% in Wisconsin since last year, while housing prices have gone up by 6.14%. It's not just millennials taking advantage. Financial expert Mark Varnon says many retired folks or those close to retiring find the flexibility more convenient and less stressful. Varnon tells me 3 to 5 years is still the amount of time you should be willing to stay in a home after purchasing one to break even.
Renting can be a very, very sound financial decision.
So if you're looking at renting, how can you still save money over time? Well, even though you lost the opportunity of building equity with renting, you avoid paying for things like taxes and insurance and leave maintenance and upkeep to someone else. Varnon tells me you just have to be smart about your situation, looking at the cost of buying a home versus that of renting.
If you save the difference, you can actually acquire over time the same amount of equity, if you will, that you would by renting that you otherwise would have in a house. So you can save that difference and make up for the equity that's lost.
Barnett says one of the things to watch for in the months and years to come is the fact that investors are buying up more and more of these starter homes for families and driving up those rents and renting them out. So this could play an even bigger role on those of you looking to buy than it ever has before. Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Well, we hope to keep this conversation going about prices in Madison for housing. You can reach out to Josh directly or send an affordability question to the newsroom through channel3000.com.
New at 5, UW-Madison officials will raise the rainbow pride flag outside the two unions. The flag has been flying above the Capitol and Madison municipal buildings all month long. Chancellor Rebecca Blank released a statement today that the flag will fly on campus tomorrow and through the weekend in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. That New York City protest was in response to a police raid of a gay club called the Stonewall Inn. The riots served as a catalyst for the gay rights movement across the country and the world. The chancellor's statement says equity and inclusion are cornerstones of our core values at UW, and we recognize there is still much work to be done.
Tonight, the first concerts on the square of the season. The Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra kicks things off with featured performer Sakurako Erickson on piano. He is a 17-year-old who won the orchestra's Young Artist Concerto competition. That starts tonight, 7 o'clock, King Street side of the state capitol.
Coming up next on News 3 Now at 5, the Senate passes its own version of an emergency spending plan for the southern border, why President Trump prefers it to the plan that passed the House.
And later on News 3 Now at 6, a Madison family starting a special project to get toys to patients at the Children's Hospital who might need an extra snuggle. We will share how you can help. And on Wall Street, mixed numbers on this Wednesday. The Dow off 11. The NASDAQ, though, adds 25. The S&P loses almost 4. We'll be right back.
The U.S. Senate has passed its own version of a $4.5 billion emergency funding bill for the southern border, setting up a clash with House Democrats who passed a different version last night. A photo taken Monday has helped illustrate the humanitarian crisis, showing a father and his daughter who drowned while trying to swim across the Rio Grande. The picture follows reports of filthy conditions at a migrant detention center in Texas. Border Patrol officials pushed back on the reports at a Senate hearing.
We have brought in shower facilities. We've increased, as I mentioned in my oral statement, the amount of operational funding that we're spending on consumables, diapers, food.
There is a huge disconnect between your testimony and between what we are getting as reports.
The House passed a border funding bill with stricter standards of care for detained migrants, but the president has threatened to veto it, preferring the Senate bill, which includes more money for enforcement. Special counsel Robert Mueller has agreed to testify publicly before both the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees on July 17th. At a news conference in May, Mueller said he did not want to testify, arguing that his report into Russian election interference speaks for itself. But Democrats have more questions about the 100-plus contacts between Trump campaign officials and Russians, and about the 10 times that the report indicates the president tried to interfere with the investigation.
The House Oversight Committee has voted to subpoena testimony from White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway. This comes after a federal agency recommended that she should be fired for repeatedly violating a law that limits the political activities of federal employees. Chairman Elijah Cummings has warned that his panel would vote to hold Conway in contempt if she ignores that subpoena. The largest debate ever of Democratic presidential hopefuls takes place in Miami tonight. 10 candidates will take the stage, all looking to separate themselves from the more than 24 candidates battling for the Democratic nomination. Tonight's participants include Senators Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, and Amy Klobuchar, as well as New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and former HUD Secretary Julian Castro.
The opportunity for a candidate to break through is pretty slim. You're not going to get a lot of time.
Candidates will have just 60 seconds to answer questions, 30 seconds for follow-ups. There's another debate tomorrow night. Former Vice President Joe Biden, along with Senators Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris, are among the more prominent candidates taking the stage on Thursday.
To weather now, Gary Canalti is watching the forecast. Gary?
Well, today's actually a pretty nice day. We've had sunshine and the humidity levels are fairly low, but things will start changing tomorrow, and then we'll start to see the heat and humidity arrive for the weekend. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for late tomorrow afternoon, more likely tomorrow night, for the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms, hail, high winds, and heavy rain. The main threat as a squall line may develop and then sweep through southern Wisconsin late in the day tomorrow night. And then it's the heat and humidity that take over. Friday and Saturday, temperatures upper 80s to around 90, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Heat index between 91 and 98. Sunday, probably our best chance of hitting 90 degrees with sunny skies, and that heat index again from 93 to 98. And Monday, temperatures still in the upper 80s, outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Otherwise, that heat index from 90 to 95. So take it slow and easy those days. Try to stay in air conditioning as much as possible. Visible cloud track right now, you can see generally sunny skies across southern Wisconsin. Some mid and high level cirrus clouds moving on through, but not bringing any precipitation. Looks like a couple of flashes of lightning as thunderstorms try to develop farther to the south in central Illinois. But the severe weather threat for tomorrow for tonight, actually does encompass parts of southern Wisconsin. There's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. However, I think the chances of any thunderstorms developing at all are going to be very slim. If they happen at all, it'll be late toward early tomorrow morning. Now, there's a better chance of thunderstorms redeveloping tomorrow afternoon through central Wisconsin, sweeping through the southern part of the state. That's why the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms here, with a marginal risk to the north and south of that. And even on Friday, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. Gusty winds and hail, the main threat there. But again, the thunderstorm chances are Friday much less than what we'll see for tomorrow. Rainfall, another issue. The showers and storms coming through generally will bring somewhere in the neighborhood of about a half inch to an inch of rain through southern Wisconsin. This is through early Friday morning, but there could be some localized heavier amounts, like areas south of La Crosse, according to the latest computer models. They could be looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain in heavier thunderstorms. Live view from the WISC sky cam, you can see lots of sunshine, just those cirrus clouds overhead. Not much going going on around here. Temperature 84 degrees, that's warm, but the humidity only 38% with a dew point temperature in the mid-50s. The heat index is actually a degree lower than the actual temperature at 83 degrees. But you can see temperatures right now generally in the 80s around the state, not even a lake breeze to keep temperatures cooler there. And to our south and west, temperatures mid to upper 80s. Winds are pretty light across southern Wisconsin as high pressure is almost directly overhead, but that means out to the west, those winds become more southerly. And dew point temperatures that are in the 50s here start to go into the 60s, and that humid air will start moving eastward as that high pressure system moves off to the east. Now, if we look at atmospheric instability for the potential for severe thunderstorms, this is beginning right now, and you can see by early tomorrow morning, maybe a little bit of instability into southern Wisconsin. The better instability starts to arrive tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. That's when there would be the better chances for severe weather. Then as those storms shift to the south, that moves the instability away. Now on Friday it starts to build again, but there's no front nearby. So there'll be a lot of potential for severe weather, but nothing to really get those storms going. So the thunderstorm chances are low. If we do get a storm to pop up, there's the potential it could become severe. But again, at this point, it looks like the greater threat is probably going to stay to the west and south of us. Even on Saturdays, those temperatures get up to around 90 or above. You see the high instability to the west. But again, a lot of that is just going to depend on whether or not storms can fire up at all. Weather track right now, you can see some strong severe thunderstorms down to the south, but that strong jet stream overhead right now is drying us out. As this warm front comes northward, these temperatures that are in the 80s and 90s to our south and west will be streaming in our direction. So our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies, very mild, low of 67, just an outside chance of a thunderstorm toward morning. Tomorrow, look for a high temperature of around 86 degrees with variably cloudy skies. It'll be more humid, and there will be a chance for thunderstorms later in the afternoon. Future track, quiet overnight. I don't even see thunderstorms developing. Again, if one develops, there's the potential for severe weather. But you can see by later tomorrow afternoon, those storms starting to develop to the north and west, and then they sweep on through southern Wisconsin tomorrow night. That's when we have the greatest threat for severe weather. Friday, we're back to temperatures well into the 80s, but very little in the way of thunderstorm chances. 7 to 10 day forecast. Again, those alert days in the forecast for tomorrow night for the potential for severe weather. Heat and humidity alert days from Friday through Monday. Thunderstorm chances continue through the 4th of July holiday and then drop off after that, but still very warm and humid conditions continue. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, slowdowns on the Beltline, especially the eastbound direction over at Park Street. We're seeing delays eastbound beginning around West Broadway, going back west of Verona Road. Westbound, some delays right around Todd Drive, and then from around John Nolan Drive back towards Stoughton Road. Right now, 38 minutes on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 28 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, 27 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 22 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, some slowdowns around Middleton, and then only 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
The 4th of July just around the corner, and consumer safety experts are warning about the dangers of fireworks that injure thousands of people each year. We show you this video every year as well, and we want to show it to you once again after this short commercial break. July 4th next week. Millions, of course, will be celebrating with fireworks.
Safety experts are reminding people how dangerous fireworks can be. Nichelle Medina reports.
The explosions can be massive and in some cases deadly. The Consumer Product Safety Commission used mannequins to recreate accidents involving fireworks. Last year, 9,100 people went to the emergency room with injuries, and at least 5 people died. It's not just large explosions that are dangerous. Sparklers can reach 2,000 degrees and are able to burn the skin and tissue down to the bone.
More than half of all fireworks-related injuries in children have occurred while adequate and direct parent supervision is present.
Dry weather in many parts of the country also has officials worried about another 4th of July danger, the high risk of fire. Crews in Northern California did this demonstration to show how quickly a small sparkler can lead to a large fire. It spread in just seconds, and a truck was brought in to put it out. Safety experts say the best advice is to use common sense, avoid illegal fireworks, and watch out for products that have been recalled.
If you try to ignite a firework and it doesn't ignite, discard it, don't try to reignite it. Beyond that, if you're going to use fireworks, have a bucket of water or a hose handy, and most importantly, don't give fireworks to children.
It's also important to leave professional-grade fireworks to the professionals. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Consumer Product Safety Commission says there have been at least 121 firework-related deaths since 2003. The 5th annual Shake the Lake is this Saturday in Madison. Could be the hottest day of the year so far for all that food, fun, and fireworks.
Last year, temperatures only reached 80 degrees at Shake the Lake, but this year, an alert day is in the forecast on Saturday for temperatures near 90 with high humidity. It could feel like the middle to upper 90s here when the gates open at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Event officials say it's important to use sunscreen and drink plenty of water, and they're providing extra opportunities to stay hydrated during the festivities.
Everyone is allowed to carry one 20-ounce factory-sealed water bottle into the event zone, so that is something that will be allowed through. We will be having bag checks as people come in, but they will be able to bring that in.
Officials also say they will be working with the Madison Water Utility Wagon to provide on-site water refilling stations as well. The fireworks are scheduled to start at 10 p.m. when temperatures could still be in the 80s.
And speaking of those temperatures, we will have another check of your forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
Coming up, the story behind a heartbreaking photo of a dead immigrant father and daughter. Plus, a mother beaten and hospitalized by the boy she reported for bullying her son. And an injured Marine gets thanks for his service. A free home. Coming up on the CBS Evening News.
Here comes the heat.
Yeah, first we have to get through some thunderstorms tomorrow night, and then the heat and humidity really build. Right now, pretty quiet out there, not seeing any thunderstorms or showers anywhere near southern Wisconsin. And that's because the air is dry. 84 the current temperature. It's warm, but it feels like it's 83 because the humidity levels are low, so it actually feels a little cooler than the actual temperature. The heat and humidity build after those thunderstorms, and you can see temperatures mid-80s to around 90 through the weekend.
More updates in 30 minutes. CBS Evening News is next.